The hobby has taken Dave and Adams to places within the industry we could have never dreamed of. With our hobby reaching such incredible heights, we wanted to find a way to give back to the community that has given us so much. That's why we created Cards Matter. Cards Matter is our initiative to help show support to those family members within the hobby at the times when they need it the most. In this series, you'll hear stories of individuals within our hobby that have struggled with adversity in some way. There's so many reasons of why we collect and why we got into the hobby. The one thing we can all agree on, cards matter.
My name is John Dunphy. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been here since 1976. Originally was born in New York City. I remember being in school, and I was in a Catholic school. All the nuns were Brooklyn Dodger fans. So that's how I really got into it, because it was interesting. I also remember when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, how I was about certain stuff. How I kept it, I collected rocks for a while. I actually had snakes. They didn't bite or anything. I sold them a nickel an inch. I remember one time, all these shades, these light shades, walked around and sold it door to door. And didn't do well at that. But I tried, You gotta try. Cards at that time didn't mean much. Even though we had cards like from the Civil War, from the early 50s, it was meaningless, but we loved to look at them because the color is like basically a painting.
John was always great with the story. He was one of those, no matter what, if you were talking about politics or if you were talking about cards or if you were talking about the Vietnam War, he always had a great conversation and a great story about it. He was just a really engaging person, and someone who you liked being around, and someone you felt very comfortable in his store. You spent 2 minutes or 2 hours. He didn't care. He was always friendly with the customers, and they made you want to come back. And I think that's what has kept him in business all these years.
Once I got back from Vietnam, we were in Memphis, but I wanted to go home. So we did. We went and moved to, we were in New York, Queens, New York for a while, and then we went up to Westchester County, New Rochelle. The guy I was working with, he needed $200. So I said, okay, no problem. And he gave me this suitcase, this old suitcase, as collateral. I never looked in it. About 3 years down the road, when things were really happening, I opened it up, and it was all 1950s, 1960s football and baseball, nothing else, football and baseball. I started going to shows, the usual stuff. We went all over the country. This guy over in Creve Hall, he had these, it used to be a car wash. So you have these bays, they're all the same size. So I had 400 square feet when I first started. And after about a year, I got another bay. I had 800, and then I went to 1,200. I had all these bays. And I found this place. I knew the owners, and it was cheaper. And hopefully, I thought my name was still out there, but it took about 2 years to get back up.
I got connected with John. I was actually a customer 20 years ago. And he and I just kind of hooked up, went into his shop, always looking to fill sets. Look for that oddball item, whether it be an autograph or a box or a relic. When I retired from the Tennessee Titans a little bit over 2 years ago, I decided to try to figure out what I wanted to do. So after 20 years of a customer, about 8 months ago, he said, hey, I need some help. And I said, sure, I'd love to come in. So I come in for about 10 to 12 hours a week and just work with customers. The one little thing that we always called Cards Are Fun, it's like a treasure trove. People would walk in and they could spend almost 2 hours, like you were going to the Louvre or the Museum of Modern Art or the Smithsonian. It was such a treasure trove of memorabilia, both entertainment as well as sports. People would just get lost in there. It was just great.
was about 8 a.m. and I answered the phone, and I really couldn't understand what the guy was saying or whatever. I didn't know because it was crackly and you really couldn't hear. So I just, hung up. But then he called back again, and then I could hear him clearer. And he said, "Are you John Dunphy?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, you've had a fire in your retail store over here on Old Hickory Boulevard." So I went down. About 8:30 I got there, and they showed me where it started, but it was short and sweet, and I'm just standing there looking at everything, and saying, "Oh boy, this is a big job." Right away, it's a big job. So I think I called Bill and left a message for him, and thank God he called me back, and he came right away. I really appreciate that.
I still remember the call almost 2 weeks ago now, 12 days ago, when the store caught fire due to the electrical. And he said, "Hey, do you have a shop vac?" I said, "I do." And I said, "It's a fire and the fire department came out. I think we're gonna need a little more than a shop vac." So I came out here and he was still sitting in his car over there. And I said to him, "Well, let's go take a look." So we went in and I said, "John, this is a lot bigger deal than I think you and I can handle."
You could hardly walk. There was so much of it, and finally, the next day, we got it all cleaned out. A bunch of people came and helped, and because you wouldn't be able to walk around here. It's all this, even the glass from the showcases, from the window on the left, the front door, all those things got broken. The glass got broken and got spread out along here.
Everything in there, in its own way, shape, and form, was a part of him because he's been doing it so long.
This is cardboard. There's a lot worse things that could happen to anybody. This is just something that happened. Nobody got hurt. And we got to go from there, see what I can do with it.
We've gotten donations to the GoFundMe from some of his biggest competitors, other stores. I won't name who they are because they may not want it out there. When I would tell him, I said, "Hey, you got a big donation from X this morning." He's like, "Wow, he's my competitor." And I said, "John, we're a small community. Hobbyists stick together because cards matter. And that's something we always have to remember. And, we all had a great ride the last year and a half, but for us, it's a lifelong endeavor, not just something we just got in the last year and a half, 2 years.
Cards matter to a lot of people. They've helped people. They've been a diversion for people. If they've been in need, it's given some people a new lease on life a little bit. Our program that we have here is called Cards Matter.
Right.
So on behalf of Dave and Adams, we want to help with that as well.
Sure.
We're going to be giving you $15,000 to help with your recovery and the whole process.
You got to be kidding me. Wow, that is a surprise, man. You guys are something else. Really? Oh, thank you so much, man. God works in your life in different ways, God, that's nice. That's all I can say, man. That is nice of you guys to do that.
I'm glad we could help out, and we're glad to give us some time, with you, and
right.
Our job here is to help, spread the news of this, because like I said, there's so many hobby places out there, but it's clear to us how special your store is, not only to the people of the area, but to you as well, and some of your family. Bill and Mike coming in as family. So
right.
we're glad to be part of that family.
Good.
And like I said, we're glad to hopefully help a little bit.
We don't forget you guys at all, believe me. The low key guys, and it helps. It does. It helps that you understand it. You know what I'm talking about, and that's calming. Because it's a matter of the understanding, which is really cool. Because people think just cardboard. It's not. It's different, people. It really is.
So, what do you got there? So basically, this is kind of something when we first walked into the store, the morning of the electrical fire. For one of the first things I noticed, this is a seared together block of about 200 to 225 Pete Rose cards. You see the 69 All-Star card here on the front, seared in, and then on the back, you can see a 1970 Topps All-Star card back. And the rest in here are 64 to 73 peat roses, and they're all seared. And then when hopefully John reopens whatever location, whether it be here or somewhere else, we want to call it Cards Are Fun again. And this is going to kind of be the centerpiece behind the cash register. We're going to put it in a helmet case and just a remembrance of everything we overcame and everything we achieved together.